Hi everybody, this is James again. We're at week 5. I'm going to be doing unit 5 today. So let's go over this, get this over with, and we'll get on with our business as usual. So I hope you guys are having a nice weekend. So here we go. Uh, Again, you guys, your persuasive paragraph is going to be due on April 26th. I have opened up the folder on Plato, so if you finish your project early, and you want to upload it to Plato, the folder is open now, so you can now upload that anytime you wish. Just remember that you have until April 26th at 11:59 in order to upload your assignment number 1 persuasive paragraph. Okay, um, we'll work on your persuasive essay a little bit later, but keep that in mind that this is going to be due on week number 9, and I will let you know the date when that comes a little bit closer for that. And we'll go over the assignment number 2. We're basically just going to continue our assignment 1, building on our persuasive paragraph and change it into a persuasive essay. So there's not too much more work that we have to do. So again, I'll remind you guys a little bit later, and we'll go over that together as well. As far as your Smart Choice Practice Extra Credit, Units 1 through 6, date is the same, May 1st. Get it to me by 5 p.m. and you're good. Okay. Other than that, we're going to jump into Unit 5. Okay, we'll talk about technology. And you guys are pretty well known for knowing about technology. Okay, South Korea is the fastest, has the fastest internet speed in the world. So you guys are really privy to technology, and you have many different ways to use technology as well. So you know about all this stuff really. So it's going to be pretty easy for you, I think, and I will go over it pretty quickly. I will also go over things called infinitives and gerunds. These will be your grammar point for Unit 5. So let's go ahead and get into this. So like I said, we're going to talk about technology a little bit. Okay, get some new vocabulary, but you guys probably already know that stuff. So, and also learn about these infinitives. Infinitives are basically just 2 verbs: to drive, to eat, to run, to hide. We'll talk about those. And gerunds are basically nouns. They are nouns, but they have ing. Okay, we'll talk about that. Okay, so questions to think about. And these questions are going to be kind of important for some homework that I'm going to be giving you guys this week. It's not really homework, but I'll tell you guys in a little bit. Okay, so here are questions. What are some types of technology you use often? Okay, what types do you use often? You probably use your smartphones every day. You probably use computers or notebooks or tablets or something like that every day. So what are some types of technology you use often? What do you use it for? If you use your computer, what do you use it for? I use my computer for preparing for classes, for doing homework, for writing papers. So what do you use your technology for? And last one, what are some really cool or really useful apps that you gotta have? Okay, some new applications on your smartphones or whatever that are really, really cool, that you use them a lot. Or maybe they're new to you and you think that they're really awesome and you like to use them now. So what are some of those useful and cool apps that you gotta have right now that you have? Okay, so think about those questions, okay? And if you want to, you can post some of your cool apps to our class Cacao. Let us know what some cool things are, okay? But you don't have to, so just think about those things, okay? All right, so let's jump into some important vocabulary here. I'm going to go over the exercise that is on page 30 in your book. We'll look at exercise 1, okay, and then we'll do exercise 2 really quickly, okay? So let me jump into this here. And in order to do that, hopefully this will open up, perhaps. There we go. Okay, so let me get into your book here. Okay, so here is the exercise on page 30 in your book, And as you can see, this vocabulary is really pretty easy here. You probably know all these vocabulary words already. So let's just go ahead and plug them in the blanks here. Look at the picture. What things do you see? Write the correct letter. So if we look here at number 1, okay, we see that there's this big machine. I know there's a big one over in the engineering department in building 103 or 105, somewhere around the front gate. I know they've got one of these things, and we know that this is a 3D printer. So number 1 is D. Okay, 3D printer. Number 2 down here on the table. Okay, a lot of students use these these days. They are much bigger than a smartphone, but similar to a computer a little bit. Okay, these are called tablets, of course. Tablets, so number 2 is C, tablet. Okay, number 3 on his head here, and that's your hint. Okay, this is a wireless headset, and we usually don't even use wireless anymore. We just say headset. Okay, so we can just say number 3 is a headset, wireless headset. Okay, it doesn't really matter anymore. Number 4 over here on the table, we have a camera. It's plugged into the computer. It's probably uploading some photos. So we would call that a camera. Why sports camera? I don't know. Okay, I would never call it a sports camera. Digital camera, yes. Okay, that would be more appropriate, but it's just a camera or a digital camera. Sports camera. That's crazy English right there. Number 5 on his wrist. Used to be kind of popular the last couple years, but nowadays I think these are kind of not so popular as they used to be. And I don't know anybody who has one of these, but maybe some of you guys do. And we know that this is a smartwatch. Okay, smartwatch there. So number 5 is B. And please look at the spelling. Smartwatch is one word. Okay, it's not disconnected. Okay, number 6, something that we use every day. You might even be looking at it right now. Okay, watching my video. So we all know that this is a smartphone. Smartphone also one word. Okay, there are no spaces in between there. Okay, number 7 over here. I've never seen these, never used them. I never knew anybody who had them, but we know that these are smart glasses. And look at the spelling here. This is actually 2 words. Okay, so know the difference between smartphone, 1 word, smart glasses, 2 words. Okay, and last one. Okay, something that nobody really uses anymore. I had one of these a long time ago when I first came to Korea. One of these electronic translators here. But nowadays everybody uses their phone. Naver, Google, Papago. We've got all different ways to translate language now. Okay, so those are all your vocabulary words for the first part for exercise 1. Exercise 2, basically you're just going to look at the picture again, look at the vocabulary words, and decide which of the items are for entertainment. Okay, something that you use for fun, something that's really cool. Well, all of them basically, but probably a smartphone, a tablet, you can watch videos on it, play games on it, computer also. I think this would be kind of fun for me, but maybe it's not correct. Okay, so maybe even smart glasses. I don't know. But it depends on what you think is fun and what you use for entertainment. Okay, which of them are for getting information? Okay, where do you get information? From the computer, from a smartphone, you get it from your tablet, you can get them from your smart glasses, from just about everything here basically, right? And which of them allow communication? Which do you use for communication? And again, you guys can probably figure those out, okay? So which pieces of technology do you use for certain things? For entertainment, for getting information, and for communication. I'm sure you guys know the differences between those. Okay, so there you go. Those are some vocabulary words for Unit 5. Okay, here's the full list, or a bigger list. So make sure that you guys know all these words here. There are a couple of words here: browse, download, and feature. Browse and download, very common words used with technology. Feature, characteristic, what does your smartphone have? What kind of features does it have? Okay, so there's a bigger list of your vocabulary, but again, please go to page 137 in your book for the full list of vocabulary words for Unit 5, okay? All right, let's jump into this. I'll go over this a little bit more because this is going to be for your homework as well. We're going to do a little technology market research, and I'll have you guys do that, okay, a little bit later. All right, so your grammar point for today, we're going to go over gerunds and infinitives. So let's look at this PPT that I posted to Plato and your Kakao Talk, okay? So let's see here. We'll turn to page 32. Not yet. Let me go over this. Okay. So this is pretty easy, okay? So basically what we're doing here is we're looking at the differences between something called gerunds and something called infinitives. And a gerund is basically a noun. It looks like a verb, but it's not. It's a noun, okay? So gerunds can be used as subjects of sentences, okay? Subjects of sentences, and they're also used with for. Okay, for goes in the front of them too. So if they're not used at the beginning of the sentence like this, taking pictures with this camera is easy, or looking at pictures on websites is fun, you can see these gerunds are at the beginning of the sentence. If they're at the end or in the middle, they usually have for in front of them. And I'll show you that here in just a second. But we can see that they look like verbs, but they have ing. Okay, taking pictures, looking at pictures, playing video games, watching movies. We talked about hobbies before in Unit 1, remember that? Well, those were all gerunds too. Okay. When gerunds are used as subjects, we also use singular verb. This is important. If you look at the verb here, you notice that it's singular, dansueo. So anytime that you have a gerund as the subject, the verb is going to be singular. So put that in your brains, okay? And don't forget that. In modern English, infinitives aren't usually used as subjects of sentences. Maybe a long time ago when Shakespeare was around, we used to sometimes in the front. Okay, to take pictures with this camera is easy. We don't say that anymore, okay? To look at pictures on website is fun. That's crazy English right now. Maybe old English, yes, but modern English, no. So I see a lot of this actually in Koreans. Koreans use this sometimes as subjects of your sentence. So be careful. If you're going to use something like this at the beginning of a sentence, you'll most likely use gerunds, okay, instead of infinitives, okay? While both of these sentences are grammatically correct, they sound unnatural and overly formal. So the grammar is actually right. There's no problem with the grammar, but it just sounds kind of strange. So it's not, appropriate to use infinitives as subjects anymore. Okay. Okay. Last thing, basically. Okay. So like I said, basically we're going to be using differences between infinitives and gerunds. Okay. So be able to rewrite a sentence with gerunds as a subject. Okay. So here's our sentence. It says, it isn't difficult to use this MP3 player. So to use this MP3 player. So now we want to take this and we want to change it into a gerund and put it at the beginning of a sentence. So instead of using the infinitive, we would use something like this. Using this MP3 player isn't difficult. So we're just going to take the subject, throw it away. We're going to change the infinitive verb to a gerund and use it as the subject. So it isn't difficult to use this MP3 player. We'll change it to using this MP3 player isn't difficult. Okay, number 2, it's not expensive to buy a PDA online. So how could we take this, change it into an infinitive or a gerund and put it at the beginning of your sentence? It's not expensive to buy a PDA online. We would say buying a PDA online isn't expensive. Okay, so buying a PDA online isn't expensive. Okay, number 3. It's better to talk on a hands-free phone in the car. Okay, to talk, there's our infinitive. Change it to a gerund, make it a subject. Talking on a hands-free phone in the car is better. Talking on a hands-free phone in the car is better. And then last one, it's impossible to live without technology. To live's our infinitive. Change it to a gerund, make it a subject, and it's good. Living without technology is impossible. Okay, and that's probably true. If you don't have technology, living in today's society would be kind of difficult, right? Okay, so there you go. Again, be able to take infinitives, change them into gerunds, place them as subjects of the sentence, but also, most importantly, we want to be able to know the difference or change an infinitive to a gerund at the end of a sentence too. So look at page 32 in your book. And here there are exercises where we want to be able to identify where we're going to use an infinitive, or whether we're going to use a gerund. Okay, so it's pretty simple. It's always simple to me. I'm a native English speaker. Maybe it's hard for you though. Okay, so here, take a look at our grammar box. Okay, we're focusing on infinitives, we're focusing on gerunds. And as I mentioned before, you can see that when we have gerunds in the middle or at the end of a sentence, we have for that goes before those. Okay, for paying, for emailing. Infinitives are always the same. They're basically two verbs, okay? So now what we want to be able to do, first, choose which ones we're going to use. Are we going to use an infinitive, or are we going to use a gerund? Okay, so exercise 1 says choose the correct phrase to complete the sentence. 1 is already done. It says she went online to improve her English. To improve her English. Okay, we can see 2 is the easiest choice here because improve, that's a base form. Okay, it doesn't have ing, so you'll be able to know that. Okay, number 2. This computer program is great for protect or for protecting. We know that for and ing, they're friends, so that's pretty easy there. She loves using her video app in order to chat or in order for chat with her friends. Well, we've got our infinitive here. Infinitive with the base verb. We know that's pretty easy as well. And last one here, number 4. There's some new software available for learn or for learning languages. Okay, for ing, they're friends. Chinguea, they're friends. So that one's easy. Okay. Okay, last part here, exercise number 2. Rewrite the conversations using gerunds. So this is kind of what we just did with our exercise on the PPT. Take an infinitive, change it to a gerund, but this time it's at the end of the sentence. So we're going to put for there, okay? For. So what do you use your smartphone for? I use my smartphone to text messages, or change this to what? For texting. Okay, for texting messages, okay? And this is going to be a little bit hard for me trying to use this mouse and type it out, okay? All right, so change to text to for texting, okay? Number 2, how do you use your sports camera? I use my sports camera to record my motorcycle rides. No, we're going to change this to our gerund here, put for at the beginning, and we'll say for recording. Okay, recording our motorcycle rides or my motorcycle rides. Okay. Okay, here. ing is for's friend. Okay, next one here, number 3. What do you need a 3D printer for? I need a 3D printer to make jewelry, or I need a 3D printer for making jewelry, for making. Here you got to be careful with making's spelling. Sometimes we take the E away and we change it to ing. Okay, so here maybe that confused you a little bit there. Okay, so take it, take the E away. Okay, and add ing. Okay, for making. And the last one here, number 4. What other technology do you use every day? I use my headset to make calls while I drive. Again, same thing here. Okay, put that down there for making calls while I drive. Okay, so I think that's pretty simple. Be able to take infinitives, change them into gerunds, put them as subjects of the sentences, or use them in the middle of a sentence using for in this situation here. So I think it was kind of simple this week. Okay, all right, so that's basically it for your grammar point, guys. Grammar point, infinitives and gerunds, easy, cheesy. Okay, so that's about it for that. Okay, so here's what I was talking about before. Okay, if we go back to that last slide here, this conversation practice. Okay, we kind of did some conversation practice last week when we did a survey, right? You got with some friends, you got with 3 friends, you asked us some questions, you answered yes or no. Okay, this sort of similar. Okay, take your time on this. You don't have to take 10 minutes, but take some time with this. Okay, you're going to get into groups of 3, or basically find 2 friends. Okay, find 2 friends here. Print out the technology market research document that I posted. Okay, I posted it to Plato, and I posted it on our class Kakao. Similarly, if you don't want to print it out, you can do it other ways. You can do it electronically. You can do some photographs, screenshots, print screens, same thing. Okay, it's up to you. There are many ways to complete these exercises here. Find 2 friends. Similar to last week, you can use Kakao Call if you want to. Meet some new friends. Get onto our class Kakao and say, hey, I want to ask somebody some questions. Will you help me with my homework? And you can find some friends in our class, or it could be other friends as well. So write your friends' names under student 1 and 2. Ask each other the questions and check the answer according to the choices. The choices are a little bit longer this week. Here's the Technology Market Research Survey. Ask them the questions over here. Here you want to try to use these. Okay, these are basically answers. Keep it short, keep it sweet, don't take a lot of time, but I would like for you to interact. So if you can talk a little bit more about what kind of phone you have maybe, or what you use, kind of cool apps that you have. Talk to your friends a little bit, interact. So it looks like this. Okay, and just think about it. Okay, do you have similar traits or similar things as your friends? Who did you agree with the most? Maybe you can meet some new friends and get along very well. Okay, so it looks like that. So like I said, try to interact a little bit more. And same thing as last week. After completing the survey, take a photo or use your edited screen grab and upload it to the week 5 technology market survey. Okay, that's going to be due next Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Okay, similar. Okay, all right. So if you guys have any questions about that, as always, post to our class Kakao. Help each other out. Okay, that's what we're here for. We're here to help each other. Okay. Your other homework, please continue working on your assignment 1 persuasive paragraph. Remember, April 26th at 11:59, that is the deadline, okay? So please upload your assignment 1 to the assignment 1 folder in Plato. It's open now, so you guys can upload it anytime, okay? Okay, as usual, practice your reading. Read the story on page 34, Robots Among Us. Also study the Unit 5 vocabulary words on page 137. Okay, always practice those vocabulary words, okay? Do Unit 5 activities in your Smart Choice Extra Credit. Please, I'm not super strict on that, but please get it done by April 19th because your deadline is coming up on May 1st, okay, for Units 1 through 6. So, try to complete those every week. And don't forget your online lecture in Plato this week, okay? Make sure you're watching those videos. Okie dokie. Okay. Fun for me. Okay, I finally get to meet you guys And what I'm going to do is I haven't talked to anybody. I've texted a few of you guys on Kakao Talk, but this is going to be a little bit scary for some of you this week who haven't practiced English in a long time or have never spoken English before. But I want to talk to you guys. I want to get to know you a little bit here. So what I'm going to do this week is I'm going to call each and every one of you. So we're going to have a little phone meeting this week, okay? A little one-on-one. So this week, there is no Kakao Talk homework, okay? This week, I'm going to call each of you and talk with you individually. So we're going to have a little conversation, a little 3 to 5 minute conversation, just so that I can see your face, so that I can hear your voice, so that I can listen to your English a little bit. And like I said, you'll probably be a little bit nervous, but don't worry about it, okay? Try to relax. Don't stress out a little bit. I don't care about makeup. No makeup. You don't have to worry about that. Don't wear any masks, okay? You're not going to catch corona from me. So I just want to see your faces and hear your voices, okay? So I will be asking you questions related to what we have done in the units. So questions that we've already gone over, I'm going to ask you those questions, okay? So I may ask you any of the questions on the next slide. Okay, so here are the questions. Okay, what are your hobbies? How long have you been doing them? In your opinion, what is the best hobby? Why? What kind of TV programs do you like to watch? How often do you watch them? In your opinion, what is the best movies or TV show? Why? What museums have you visited? Which one did you like best? Why? What kind of art do you like or not like? What are some characteristics you look for in a friend? In your opinion, what is the most important characteristic in a friend? Why? What are some types of technology that you often use? And in your opinion, what is the most important piece of technology that you have? Why? Okay, so I'm not going to ask you all of these questions. I might just ask you one or two of those, okay? And we'll engage in a little free talking or a little free conversation, okay? But just be prepared. I might ask you these questions. And I did notice a little mistake that I had there. In your opinion, it should be, in your opinion, what is the best movie, as bagel, or TV show, okay? So again, I might ask you 1, 2, 3 of these questions, or you and I were just going to talk for about 3 or 5 minutes, okay? So it's up to you. Be prepared, okay? You must be available for a video phone call during our scheduled class time. Okay, for our scheduled class time, okay, it's 2 hours. I want you to be available. If possible, I encourage you to use, you should use Wi-Fi instead of data. That's a very strange sentence. I encourage you to use Wi-Fi instead of data. Okay. If I cannot meet everyone during that 2-hour period, I will schedule a time with you so that I can talk with you. Okay, something that's convenient for you. Okay, but I want to talk to everybody. Okay, everybody at that time. If you do not make yourself available during your class time, you will lose 2 points and it will be considered an absent. So if I call you during our class time and you don't answer, that's not good. Okay, it's going to be minus 2 points. You should be available at that time. Okay, no excuses. So be available at the class time, and here are your class times right now. Okay, so look at your class number. If you are PE2025, okay, you should be available between 11 and 1 o'clock on Monday. Okay, everybody else, here is your class number. Here are the days. Here are the times that you should be available and the dates. So you should be available at your time. As far as Wednesday classes, 056 and 027, I will contact each class individually because Wednesday is voting day, right? So I'll plan something with you guys and let you guys know about that, okay? But otherwise, everybody should be available at that time, so get ready. And don't stress, okay? Don't be too nervous. It'll be okay. All right? Okay, everybody, that's a wrap. Done for this unit. Unit 5 is finished. I hope to see some of you guys next week, or at least most of you next week on our phone calls. Okay, that's it, you guys. Have a good weekend. I'll talk to you later.